Now, Jamie from Amazon will be presenting the training enabling the cross-border e-commerce. And I will make sure that my sound is sharing. Okay, and here we go.
Buen día a todos.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome to this seminar on how to sell on Amazon. I'm Jaime. I work for Amazon. Today we will have a session in 4 blocks. A brief introduction on how to sell in Amazon, how the customs fees are charged, how to deliver the products, and some tools to increase the sales. Thank you very much for your attention. And I would like to start with a brief introduction about Amazon and its global presence. Amazon started business in 1996, and since then to today, we are in 28 countries and in the 5 continents of the earth. Some of our operations are interlinked, like North America, in order to make easier the sale experience to our customers. In this way, I would like to share some basic concepts that you probably know, and I would like you to get familiar with. In the case of Amazon, and this is the concept of marketplace. Marketplace is the place where third parties sell their products to Amazon and get to their final customers. So we offer a way to connect the needs of final consumers and a small and medium-sized business and some companies with a distribution license of some brands. But you may ask yourselves, why to sell in Amazon? Since third parties started to sell in Amazon in 1999, sales have grown up to 58% of all sales of Amazon. So we started operation in 96, and 3 years later, we offer this way to third parties. And this dynamism represents 58% of all the sales of Amazon. And not only that, the third-party sales in Amazon are growing 52% yearly compared to 25% of the direct sales of Amazon. It's Amazon.
And also some emerging brands that you'll begin to know. Amazon is a very good idea for consolidated companies and for those companies that are trying to consolidate and develop and expand internationally. I'm sharing with you 3 of our main benefits. First of all, one single session independently of the country where you are registered and the region or where you're selling. Your unified account allows us to sell in distinct countries from the 28 countries I mentioned earlier on. Amazon offers safe transactions through a web portal of the sales, which is offering a familiarity and a reliable buying and selling experience for those who are familiarized with Amazon. And finally, and one of the most important points is our logistics. Basically, we offer we send the products and deliver them to the final customer through our logistics network. You can also use our reliable service, customer service. As a first step to determine and to begin the process of selling through Amazon, the first step is to identify what you will be selling. Our recommendation is having a clear strategy, identifying who will be the buyer. Are you representing an existing brand or you have your own brand? And if you're a foreign seller, if your company is located in a country where Amazon is not present, it's important to consider that the logistic process will be commercialized through Amazon. Is your responsibility. The information and the documents you need to register, you can see them in the official Amazon website to begin your registration process. It's important to consult the official pages to identify the country you are and to have it clear if you start selling in your country or if you're going to expand it towards other regions. So we can be clear about all the requirements that will be necessary and the requirements that we will need to validate your identity. After validating your identity with your geographic location, and after you have sent your banking information, you can have access to you have access to upload your list and start selling. To begin, before that, I'd like to tell you about a few fundamental elements about the tax structures that Amazon has for its sellers. The first is to differentiate the cost of selling from the cost of delivering. When we refer to ourselves, in the case of Amazon, when we speak about the selling costs, we're speaking about the monthly subscription quota, which allow us to have access to the benefits of e-commerce. Amazon's e-commerce benefits. We'll be able to showcase our products in all regions where Amazon's present. This is a monthly fee, which will depend on your registration modality. For instance, if you're in Mexico, it will be 698 pesos, and which can be different. For instance, if you are in the United States, where the fee is $39.99. In all cases, the quota is not duplicated. It's only charged locally. It's important to identify your monthly quota corresponding to the registration country. In some cases, for instance, in North America, registration allows having access to the region as a whole through your unified account without any additional charges. So the details can be read in the Amazon pages. This costs include, and then we include the tariff by reference. They are the commission that Amazon pays to the companies that sell through our marketplace. The sellers pay a fee for article. We have a rate, a percentage of the selling. These reference rates can vary from 8 to 20%, depending on the category. We see some references here. For instance, electronics products, we have a reference rate of 10%, and then household 15%, home, and then home improvements, and then kitchen 15% as well. And it's important to identify the categories subject to approval. It depends on the country where you are and where you're selling your products. It's important to consult our official pages and consider the additional prerequisites of the categories and consider the percentages of the reference rates. One thing I can say is that the reference rate can vary between the countries where the products are traded. So it's important to identify the destinations where you will be taking your products and your reference rates, the corresponding rates for each of them. Before speaking about the selling costs, the rates, I'd like to describe more about the options that we have for delivering the products at their final customers. We have two basic channels or methods. The first one is the salesperson's logistics, where you are in charge of delivering your product to the destination customer in our country. And the second one is the one I mentioned before, the Amazon Logistics, where we receive your products in our distribution center, and then we will package and store them and deliver them to the final customers, to the end customer, deriving from any type of consultation that these customers have in their countries. These are the two logistic channels through which your products can reach your customers. The rates of Amazon have a structure I'd like to share with you. To begin, I'd like to emphasize the benefits of Amazon's logistics. The first of one is to save time because we receive, package, and send the product so you can save time. And the second is to accede to the prime category. Your product will be eligible for the prime category with free deliveries, fast deliveries in 24 to 48 hours, depending on the countries. And this may help you increase your sales. And the third benefit is the customer service. Your sales will be based on Amazon's world-class customer service, and then any problem regarding the products, Amazon would be dealing with it. To explain the way our logistic works through some steps and make it clear, I now explain it in the following way. First of all, you send your products to the Amazon distribution center in the destination country. It's important to consider if you're not located in the same country of the distribution center, then you have to consider the export logistics and the timing to send your products. Once the products arrive at the distribution center, Amazon receives, scans, and stores your products, and they will be available with the Prime icon. Amazon will package them, will prepare them, and send them, and receive the payments of the customers and pay every 2 weeks the corresponding funds to the selling company. And then we also take charge of replying to questions or any problems regarding products under the Prime category. After explaining the steps of the process of shipment to the final customer through our logistics chain, I'd like to share with you the 4 types of logistic rates. The first one of by product, which includes receiving, packaging, and sending the product. The second rate is the rate for inventory storage. It's charged on a monthly basis proportionately to the time that your products are in the distribution center. A third rate is the one for optional services regarding withdrawal or destruction of inventory. The first rate applies to products that remain in distribution centers for over 365 days. As I mentioned, the logistic rate by product includes receiving, packaging, and shipping the product. And it's basically determined about the size. We have the large, which fits in a small product, the standard package, which is any types of box that could be easily transported by a person, and finally the large size which require special care. The logistic rates by product, they vary depending on the country and where it's registered and also sold. Here on the screen, by means of example, I see the rates in the case of Mexico for products sold in Mexico by companies that sell directly in the country. You see that the rates are divided by each of the sizes that I explained to you, and which can vary depending on the characteristics of the products. It's really important to consult on the official pages of the country where you're registered about the destination country and the different modalities of logistics, so you may be clear about the competitive position of your product and its prices. The second concept I explained to you is the storage rate charged by cubic decimeter per month, and it's proportional to the time when the products are in the distribution center. For instance, in the monthly rate of the inventory from January to September is different from the one October to December, which is high season. So once again, I invite you to consult the rates in the official Amazon pages, to considering the countries where you are registered and the differences in the local currency, and also the distinctions among the countries or regions where you're selling your products through Amazon. Now, I share with you about the detail pages and the central seller. What is the central seller is the central page that Amazon makes available, which is the central page where you can see your inventory and update your information. It also allows us to upload personalized or customized reports. And we will need to validate your identity. After validating your identity and geographic location, 365 days. As I mentioned, the logistic rate by product includes receiving, packaging, and shipping the product, and it's basically determined by size. We have 3 sizes, which is the small, which could be a small package that can be fit into an envelope, and the standard size, which is all types of boxes that can be easily carried by an individual, and then the large sizes that require special care. The logistic rates by product, they vary depending on the country where you're registered and where you're trading your products. In this case,
apologies everyone, I am just moving further along in the
Activa.
recording.
Como ejemplo, las tarifas de gestión también usar
for
las
instance, using the metrics and tools of the customer to monitor your performance as a seller and the state of your account as a seller, as an Amazon seller. It allows us to contact our support team and have tickets for all types. Finally, it allows us to record our daily sellings through Amazon. As you see, it's the central unit inside Amazon. And you can create your list of products after going through this process that I mentioned of registering your identity and your payment methods and the logistic model that you'll be using. After you're clear about the rate structure of the categories corresponding to your products, and then you can begin creating your list, your product list. It can, if you've been selling the same product in Amazon, you can use it, or you can use it as a single, create a list of single products, or by batch or by product in a very simple way. It's not necessary to be an expert in computing to create your lists. Amazon has many videos and guidelines to help you successfully create your lists. You have to upload the images of your products, ensuring that they at least 500 per 500 pixels, and allowing the customers to expand them, and also describing correctly your product and for instance, the size, variation, colors, and the description must be correct and precise with the features of your product. And for instance, the page section where customers can add products to their shoppers list, and the descriptions that may highlight the features of your product and any attributes that differentiate them from others and may increase your selling capacity. After uploading the page with the details of the products, say you have fulfilled the first stage and we're ready to start selling through Amazon. I will share with you about the tools that we have to increase your selling. The first one is the comments of the customers. The customer comments are a very important part of the experience at Amazon. If you receive a negative valuation, it's really important to find the cause of the problem and solve it. And the comments of the customers allows promoting your brand, and they're also a direct connection with the Amazon algorithms for the purchase options and preferences. Another thing is the promotions or the sales, which are based on the highlights of products where you can ensure a 15% discount or any type of discount in the price for a period of time, or the fast offers where you can have short times where you can have as I show you on the screen, when you can have an experience in which some products of your interest have a special price and the offer lasts for a few hours or a specific time. These are some of the examples of the promotional tools that Amazon makes available for all buyers. And the other one is the advertising solutions of Amazon advertising, the sponsored products, sponsored brands, and the stores. These tools have costs that you can administer very competitively, but some of them are for free. The sponsored products, for instance, improve the visibility of individual products with announcements that are shown in the search results and in the pages of products. You've seen how it appears on the top of the page. You can see many types of products and you don't pay to appear there, but for the click of an interested customer. After a customer has clicked in your product, then the potential selling increases importantly. The second is sponsored brands, which increase the recognition of a brand with your logo and the personalized, customized announcements that you have, advertisements. And finally, one of the most powerful tools is the store, is creating an online store inside the Amazon web portal, which you can export also as an independent store to your social networks and connect them with some of the pricing strategies that I commented about. And this is completely free. Now, maybe you feel and ask, what if I am not an expert in the digital space? And Amazon has available for the countries where you're registered and where you're selling basically it allows us the university of seller university, I mean that is some courses on themes that allow us to explore the tools and deepen our knowledge about the elements available at Amazon for your branding strategy. To have access to the Seller University, I invite you to visit our official pages. Here is I'm showing you the Mexican webpage, for instance. You can consult the Amazon.com pages to get to know all the features and requirements of the registration process. And beyond that, to complete the necessary steps and start selling through Amazon and having access to these over 150 million Amazon Prime customers that we have around the world. Thank you very much for your time for today's session. This is a brief introductory session that seeks to share the knowledge about how to begin selling through Amazon, some of the fundamental elements and basic concepts. I invite you again to visit our official pages. You can register as foreign international sellers. Please consult our pages, its requirements. Thank you very much once again.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jaime. With that, we will transition to questions. At this time, you can pose your questions to Alexis Sepulveda from Amazon. So please do not forget to leave them in the chat, okay? And we will begin shortly. So please do post your questions in the chat for Alexis. All right, and I am reviewing, looking for the questions for us. Okay, and here we have a question from Crystal. What is the best way to check demand for your product in other countries before sending large quantities to the Amazon distribution center?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Folks in the chat, please let us know if you can hear Alexis.
Okay, thank you. So that's a good question. There are few websites out there who estimate demands for products, but there's not really a good way. Like we don't disclose information of the demand of the categories that we sell in the Amazon marketplaces and in our stores worldwide. So it's really hard to tell the demand. There are a few other research companies like eMarketer or other companies who do research on the penetration of e-commerce in the categories that you can Google and probably take a look. But there's not an easy way of doing the demand. Really, the demand is by trying and doing it, and then start positioning your brand towards the marketplace that you want to sell into, and then my best advice is to try it and then do it. There's really no way of knowing the demand of your product.
Okay, thank you, Alexis. I'm now going to ask you another one of the questions that has appeared in the chat. So, question. I'm concerned about indirect expenses because as far as I investigated, there are several expenses like market-related, barcodes-related, or inventory-related. Is there any place where we can see in a transparent way all the expenses involved in sales through Amazon?
Just one question. I see that the majority of the questions in the chat are in Spanish. Is it okay if I answer in Spanish?
Oh, that would be great. Yes, feel free.
Okay, no problem. Sí, como pudieron ver ahorita en la presentación.
Entonces, so as we saw in the presentation, there are many components in terms of costs that must be covered so we can send. And this is correct for many platforms, not only for Amazon, but we charge a reference rate for the selling, which is 6 to 18%, depending on the category. And so Amazon, we have a fulfillment rate depending on the weight and the volume of the product. And finally, we also have in Amazon tools for positioning the branding, and where you can also send money in the form of digital marketing. So we must add these operation costs, the costs of sending the packages, and then inside the Amazon.com's selling place, we have the rates. But this is a research. As I said, each rate depends on the weight and the volume of the product. And the advice I give you is to revise similar products. For instance, if you want to sell in the United States, where you're focused, see similar products in the other sellers and search for the similar products, for instance, shoes, and you see the quality, the price of the products, and compare the services that are available. And then it's possible to calculate the price and the costs the logistics of Amazon fulfillment, and we have a calculator available at the Seller Central, and you can also include it FBA Google Calculator, and it will take you to the dimensions of the products and the weight, and they will show you the correct rate. So my recommendation is, and then you see the selling price, you can have your margins and see if they're competitive with similar products at Amazon.
Alexis, I will now pose another question, and feel free to summarize it in Spanish before answering. Okay.
Yes.
Is there any way to access Amazon without an international bank account? I would like to offer my products from Colombia to the rest of the world.
Sí, que si hay alguna manera de acceder a Amazon sin una cuenta bancaria
Is
internacional.
there any way of having access to Amazon without an international account? The answer is yes, you can do it. The only thing I say is that each country has its own rules. I'm not mentioning specific rules of countries because they're distinct. In the case of Mexico, for instance, it is simpler. In the case of Colombia, we have to see a payment modality that we've been working with the Colombian government. So the answer is yes. It's not necessary to have an international account, or in the United States, for instance. Some banks allow accounts in the United States, but we also have services, payment services that can manage where you can have an account. And in the case of Colombia, where you have some restrictions based, we can in a few months to see what's available. At the same Seller Central, we have options where you can use these services to open an account and then position your sales in your local and original country.
Do you have any recommendations for a small enterprise to optimize its international sales and be competitive while serving the final customer?
La pregunta es si podemos optimizar las ventas para una
The
pequeña.
question is if we can optimize our sales for a small or medium company. Our recommendation is, if you want to internationalize, one of the most important things is the quality of your products. I'd like to say in our store in the United States, it will be competing with US and also products from other countries, India, China, Europe. Now, it depends a lot on the quality and the cost relationship of the products in the United States, for instance. So to begin with, it depends on the strategy you'd like to have. And if your brand is new in the United States, you're going to have to invest some money to position it so people get to know it. And this applies in any selling channel that you have where you want to sell, not only for Amazon. You need to invest and to, according to your financial capabilities of each country. And finally, using the Amazon Marketplace as a way of internationalizing it. This is what I recommend to the small and medium companies of Latin America as a simple way. And I say simple way because at the time we've been asking about the costs and how a company can do it. If you want to expand towards the United States, companies had to hire somebody in the United States, having a company in the United States. All these things add to operational costs. And we give the option of having the management of your online store from your home country without the need to pay for salary in the United States or anything like that. And I recommend that you use this resources, this money to improve the positioning of your brand.
Amazon just as a display window, only to show our products and build an international network. What are your thoughts on that?
Que se recomiendan que utilizamos Amazon como un exhibidor, ¿no?, de nuestros productos para poder mostrar los productos.
Translating to English, to Spanish. I believe that, yes, I don't see any problem. I see Amazon represents an important part of the marketplace of sales of e-commerce in the United States. And yesterday, actually, I was reading a news that the 14 most important retailers together do not sell more than Amazon. Amazon is number one. And I believe that, yes, to use Amazon as a channel, not only to position your brand, but also to reach a very important part of the public in the United States. But I also recommend look for other sales channels. Don't limit yourself to Amazon. I think this is number one, but each brand of each company can be in other sales channel, actually use their own. So yes, I recommend to use Amazon as a way to show your brand, not only as a marketing tool, but also as an important part of your strategy, mixing up the different channels of
Thank
sales.
you, Alexis. And thank you.
Gracias, Alexis.
Another question for you. Are we able to sell services as well through Amazon or only goods?
La pregunta es si se pueden vender servicios y adicionalmente
And
a los productos de consumo. Y la respuesta es
the answer is yes, but you need to have a base in the United States. That is what I was explaining. In order to sell services, you need to have a business in the United States. And so if you have the capacity of offering services within the United States and you have a business registered in the United States, yes.
Thank you. Another question
Gracias.
for you. I would
What-
like to know what is the minimum or average amount of capital that is recommended to onboard our business in Amazon FBA?
Sí, la pregunta es si se necesita algún capital mínimo o promedio con el que se recomienda iniciar en Amazon, en FBA y en Fulfillment by Amazon. La respuesta es no.
And the answer is no, there is no minimum capital. If a company wants to sell a box or a part, you can. Naturally, it won't be feasible, it won't be good business unless you want to sell millions of parts. There is no minimum, there is no limit. I advise to start the capital you feel comfortable to work with, and according to your financial capacity, you can increase, you can sell 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. And the bottom line is it's important to know what percentages are important, because 1% of the capital can be one thing, and 10%, I don't know, it depends. I always recommend to use a percentage. For example, the most of your cash flow that you can use. Naturally, this is a new channel. It has its own resources and its profitability, but you can start, for example, small. You can start small and go big.
Thank you,